Well, as you know, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has endorsed Donald Trump, particularly in the battleground states. Can't hurt. I think it can only help, as a matter of fact, and I'm glad he did it. I don't agree with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on all matters. Well, the neocon talk and some of the food talk and so forth and so on. But I do agree with him about the press and censorship. I do agree with him on immigration. I do agree with him about the Democrat Party. And I do agree that we have to win this election. We must win this election. So if I agree with him 40, 50, 60% of the time, that's good enough for me. Because with Kamala Harris and the Marxist Islamists, I disagree with them 120% of the time. So I encourage my fellow conservatives, constitutionalists, Reaganites, turn out in big numbers. We can use all the help we can get. And I'm glad that he's endorsing Trump. Again, I don't agree with him on everything, but so what? I don't care. This is too important. I don't agree with Gabbard on everything. Tulsi Gabbard. You know, there's this strain of isolationist, sort of quasi-pro-Russia element within the Republican Party, within the populist movement. I get it. You know what's interesting about Donald Trump? He's not one of them. He's not one of them. He's not necessarily a hawk either. He's a very commonsensical guy. Peace through strength. That's his belief. And he takes each situation and he deals with it. But he's not going to be Bush. He's not going to be Romney. So you don't have to worry about that either. He loves the country. He's got common sense. And it's all very, very important. So it's a good day to have RFK Jr. endorse Donald Trump. It's a good day to take attention off of the Roman circus that took place in Chicago. Grotesque. It'll never be forgotten. With the Islamists, the anti-Semites, the abortion ban, and all the rest of it. So bizarre. Truly bizarre. And there was something else that took place at that convention and nobody else has been talking about as best as I know. I don't monitor everybody, but... And it's this, as explained in Breitbart by Olivia Rondeau. Vice President Kamala Harris bragged during her speech about her supposed passion for helping victims of sexual assault while speaking at the DNC, ignoring her track record of failing to prosecute sexual abuse cases within the Catholic Church in San Francisco, and even hiding vital records on abuses that had occurred when she was the district attorney for that city. Addressing the crowd to formally accept her party's presidential nomination last night, Harris reflected on a, quote, pivotal moment, unquote, in her life that influenced her decision to become a prosecutor by bringing up the story of a peer who was victimized. Harris said that when she was in high school, she started to notice something about my best friend, Wanda. After Wanda supposedly confided in her that she was being abused by her stepfather, Harris claimed that she immediately told her she had to come stay with us, and she did. She said, this is one of the reasons I became a prosecutor, to protect people like Wanda, because I believe everyone has a right to safety, to dignity, and to justice. No one should be made to fight alone. We're still all in this together. Well, first of all, as you well know, when it comes to the border, she certainly hasn't taken that position. That last claim would be considered ironic to some members of victims groups who accused her prosecutorial office of brushing survivors' stories under the rug. During Harris's 13-year tenure as district attorney and then attorney general, she failed to prosecute even one case of priest sexual abuse, even as at least 50 major cities brought charges against priests in the same period. They're full of S, said Joey Piscatelli, Snap Northwest Regional Director told Peter Schweitzer, a Breitbart News senior contributor and author of Profiles in Corruption, Abuse of Power by America's Progressive Elite. Oh, yes. Joey Piscatelli. You can quote me on that, he said. They're not protecting the victims, he said of Harris's office. Rick Simons, an attorney who represented victims of clergy sexual abuse in California, said Harris's action of covering up documents on the cases shows a pattern in practice and policy of ignoring the right of children by one of the largest institutions of the city, in the county of San Francisco, and in the Bay Area. Later in her convention speech, Harris claimed, as a young courtroom prosecutor in Oakland, California, I stood up for women and children against predators who abused them. But Peter Schweitzer revealed that in addition to campaign donations from multiple law firms defending San Francisco priests against crimes, multiple board members of San Francisco Catholic Archdiocese-related organizations, it's a very left-wing archdiocese, and their family members donated more than $50,950 to Harris's campaign. Harris had no particular ties to the Catholic Church or Catholic organizations, but the money still came in large, unprecedented sums, said the investigative journalist. Funny how the rest of the media completely ignore this story. Schweitzer alleged that connections Harris had with powerful people within the archdiocese influenced her to bury the records with allegations against priests. Her office would strangely hide vital records on abuses that had occurred, he added. D.A. Harris focuses her efforts on putting child molesters in prison. Her office insisted, in an effort to refute those claims, we're not interested in selling out our victims to look good in the paper. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. But one of the gentlemen who has been leading the fight to expose her, and who's a Democrat, but a victim of child molestation for 2 long years when he was in high school, is Joey Piscatelli. And Joey Piscatelli, I believe for the first time on national TV, will be on Life, Liberty, and Levin tomorrow night, Saturday. I hope you'll set your DVR. I hope you'll listen to this man. He has a lot of courage. He's a general contractor. He's a Democrat, but he's also very much involved with this organization that's about protecting individuals who were molested, children who were molested. And he has nothing but contempt for her and for her lies. And so I told you here on Blaze, on Fox, that I'm going to spend every show on my Fox weekend shows, both of them, until the end of this election, exposing Kamala Harris, because the media will not. Here's the underlying story from the Daily Mail. Kamala Harris, of a few years back, Kamala Harris buried investigation into predator priests and did absolutely nothing after becoming San Francisco DA, say victims who want her cases filed released. See, they wanted the files released because they were bringing civil cases. The prior DA had done an extensive investigation. He was going to bring charges. Kamala Harris ran against the sitting DA and defeated him. And she dropped all the investigations. She didn't bring a single case against a single priest who'd been molesting children. Not one. This is a scandal. As she goes around talking about her prosecutorial record. And then, very much like this guy Walls, who lies, he's a psychopath. So is she. So is she.